Attention passionate Washington Commanders fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC East and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Washington Commanders' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Washington Commanders fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with YOUR, FRINDS and Washington, Commanders FANS. Let's get to the news now. Folks, brace yourselves because what I'm about to tell you could be one of the most explosive rumors we've seen in recent NFL history. And it involves none other than Justin Jefferson, the Minnesota Vikings superstar wide receiver. Yes, I know it sounds like something out of a fantasy football draft, but insiders are buzzing that the Vikings might actually consider trading their 26-year-old phenom. And if this happens, it could be a game changer for the Washington Commanders, who are desperately looking to elevate their offensive game and make a serious push for the playoffs and beyond. Let's break down what's going on here. First, the Vikings sitting at a disappointing 7-7 with a lot of questions about their future, especially after the extension for quarterback Darnold, which comes with a hefty $40 million hit for the cap. That's putting a lot of pressure on their roster, and now, with limited cap space, just over $15 million, they're looking to make some strategic moves. Minnesota is also heavily focused on developing their young receiver, Jordan Addison, who racked up 900 yards in 2025. But the team seems to be feeling that losing Jefferson might be the best way to free up resources and rebuild the defense, especially considering their struggles against the run, allowing over 130 yards per game on the ground. Now, here's where it gets interesting for Commanders fans, according to NFL. Insiders, the Vikings are pondering a trade that would send Justin Jefferson to Washington in exchange for a first-round pick in the 2026 draft, plus a fourth-round selection. That's a massive haul, but what makes it even more compelling is the fact that the Vikings could free up around $25 million in cap space to rebuild their defensive line. That's huge because, let's face it, their defense has been a sore spot, allowing teams to run all over them and giving up too many explosive plays. With Jefferson on board, the Commanders could finally get that game-breaking receiver they've been craving since the days of Santana Moss, whose prime was marked by a PFF grade of 93+ and a knack for clutch catches. Jefferson, folks, is not just any receiver. The stats speak for themselves. In 2025, he was on pace for 85 receptions, over 300 yards and 10 touchdowns. His yards per route run is an eye-popping 2.5, and his EPA per target sits at plus 0.52, making him one of the most efficient and dangerous playmakers in the league. Since entering the league in 2020, he's accumulated over 500 receiving yards and has scored 40 touchdowns. He's been a 3-time Pro Bowler, averaging 6.2 receptions per game, and his yards after catch, YAC, is a solid 7.1 yards per reception. Even this year, despite a rib injury that caused him to miss one game, he's still been a force, winning contested catches 62% of the time and averaging 3.2 yards separation on his routes. What makes Jefferson so special is his ability to elevate any offense he's part of. His comparison to Moss's prime years isn't just hype. PFF grades show he's operating at that elite level, and his presence could transform the Commanders' attack. Right now, Washington's receiving core, led by Terry McLaurin, is solid, with a PFF grade of 89.1, but the injury to Jahan Dotson and other issues have limited their explosiveness. Adding Jefferson would be like flipping a switch, turning the Commanders' aerial attack into a legitimate threat night in and night out. It would be a game changer, especially considering the team's current transition season with a 4-10 record. Imagine what Jefferson's presence on the field would do for quarterback Sam Howell, who has shown flashes of brilliance, but still needs a reliable, elite target to truly unlock his full potential. Jefferson's route running, hands, and ability to make contested catches would open up so many options for the offense. Plus, his yards per game, projected to jump from around 210 yards to nearly 280, would give the Commanders one of the most potent passing games in the league. That's a 16% increase in EPA per play deep down the field, which can be the difference between a good offense and a great one. And let's not forget the ripple effect. With Jefferson on the team, the overall passing efficiency would skyrocket. It's similar to what happened when Davante Adams joined the Raiders in 2022. His addition increased the team's efficiency by around 14%, and Jefferson's presence could do the same for Washington. The entire offense would get a boost, giving Howell more mismatches and options, especially with Jackson Smith-Njigba emerging as a reliable target and the hope that Jahan Dotson can return to full health soon. Now, this move wouldn't just be about immediate impact. It's about setting the foundation for a serious playoff push, maybe even a deep run in the postseason. The NFL playoff picture is shaping up to be highly competitive, especially in the NFC, where teams like the 49ers, Eagles, and Lions are all looking formidable. But with Jefferson, the Commanders would suddenly become a team nobody wants to face. His ability to turn the tide of a game, especially in clutch moments, could elevate Washington from a middle-of-the-pack team to a legit playoff contender. Looking ahead, projections suggest that Jefferson could rack up over 400 yards in a Commander's uniform, boosting Howell's completion percentage from 62% to around 68%. That's a significant jump and would make Washington's passing attack one of the most dangerous in the league. Historically, players like Davante Adams have shown that an elite WR can elevate a quarterback's efficiency by 14% or more, and Jefferson has that same game-changing potential. With Daniels rehabbing and other receivers developing, Jefferson's arrival would create mismatches all over the field, forcing defenses to devote extra attention and opening up opportunities for the run game and other playmakers. And let's talk about the Super Bowl implications, because that's where things get really exciting. FanDuel's odds for Washington to win the Super Bowl in 2025 are currently around +500, but if this trade happens, those odds could jump significantly, potentially to +1-0 or even better. Jefferson's 3 career playoff touchdowns and his knack for clutch performances in big moments could be the X factor that pushes Washington over the top. His ability to explode zones, run precise routes, and make big plays under pressure would make the Commanders a nightmare for any NFC opponent. It's no exaggeration to say that adding Jefferson could be the spark that ignites a Super Bowl run, reminiscent of the explosive 2012 RGII era, but in a fresh, new chapter for the franchise. Now, I know some of you might be wondering about the cost. Giving up a first-round pick in 2026 and a fourth isn't a small price, but if it means transforming the offense and dramatically increasing the team's chances of winning a championship, it might be worth it. The Vikings would be seeking to rebuild their roster with cap space and draft picks, especially to shore up their defense and run game, which has struggled to contain opponents on the ground. But for Washington, this move represents a bold statement, an all-in approach that could pay dividends for years to come if everything aligns. This kind of trade would send shockwaves through the league and could redefine the NFC East rivalry dynamics. Imagine the Commanders, already on the rise, adding a player like Jefferson, someone who can change the course of games with a single catch. It's the kind of move that could make Washington a household name and a top contender for the Super Bowl in the near future. The NFL is all about big plays, big stars, and bold moves, and this potential trade ticks all those boxes. As we sit here, pondering the possibilities, it's clear that this isn't just a rumor. It's a signal of Washington's ambition, a team that's willing to make a splash to compete at the highest level. The front office's willingness to explore such a deal shows they're serious about building a roster capable of lifting the franchise back to the top. And for the fans, oh, what a thrilling prospect it is. The idea of Jefferson catching bombs from Howell, making defenders look silly, and leading the Commanders deep into the playoffs, it's enough to give us goosebumps. So stay tuned, because this could be the move that changes everything. The NFL trade deadline is approaching, and all eyes are on Washington and Minnesota. Will it happen? Nobody knows for sure yet, but if it does, it'll be one of those moments fans will talk about for decades. This is the kind of move that defines eras, that sparks excitement, and that reminds us all why we love the game. One thing's for sure, if Washington manages to pull this off, it'll be a game changer, a new chapter filled with hope, excitement, and a shot at that elusive Super Bowl trophy. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YOUTUBE algorithm to keep recommending the latest Washington Commanders news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. And now, Washington fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this potential blockbuster trade? Are you excited about the idea of Jefferson in burgundy and gold? Do you think it's worth the price to elevate this team to Super Bowl contender status? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion really matters, not just to us, but to the entire Washington Commanders family. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Washington Commanders news. This offseason could be one for the history books, and you won't want to miss a second of it.